For sure. So guys, we are about to jump into the third pick and ban phase before game number 3. And this time, Longzhu are going to be on blue side once again.
And we'll see how the pick and ban phase unfolds this time around. Samsung Galaxy hopefully does not make the same mistake, not banning Rengar, like in game number 1. And we see a Cassiopeia highlight as the first ban, and a LeBlanc highlight now.
Yeah, both very strong mid lane champions, especially LeBlanc. You don't want to let another broken one out of its cage. Rise, another mid lane being hovered right now.
They might be looking to actually just try to ban out Crown or force Crown on a very specific champion. So they might have something in store here. And if this is the case, with Rengar and Camille both remaining, you have to wonder that Samsung Galaxy is forced to ban both of them. And then how does Longzhu react with their final ban?
Not sure what's going on here, but praying gorilla. Something about them. And a knife through one of them. You guys can interpret that. Oh, it's a sniper bullet. Okay. I suppose that's Prey sniping on the Jhin so far. It's kind of been the name of his game, at least in game number 1. Varus being hovered here. We do see Camilla's banned out by Samsung, not wanting to let that through.
So now, with Varus being removed, and okay, the Rengar final ban, that probably means that Longzhu doesn't want to give away too much, and Ashe is probably going to be the first pick, or the Jhin. And we see an Ashe hover right now for Longzhu. Haven't locked it in yet, but it is a pretty solid first pick. Doesn't give away too much about the team composition. Can certainly wait to see what Samsung Galaxy wants to show. And now the problem is with Ezreal, Caitlyn, and Jhin remaining, all of them get soft countered by Ashe.
Yeah, great first pick in that. Just everything that you're mentioning. And interesting, Maokai going to be first picked here by Samsung. We haven't been seeing too many early top lane picks so far in these pick and ban phases.
And Maokai locked in preemptively. That's something I don't like to see. Generally, I prefer to see Maokai against double magic compositions, AP top laner, AP mid laner. But picking the Maokai so early on, it just hands too much over to Longzhu, because now they can have their way with whatever top laner they want. But also revealing the jungle is strange as well, because now Longzhu can just respond by picking their support and probably just picking their jungler or mid laner.
Well, we do see Karma locked in, so able to pick up one of the very strong supports. We still have Zyra out there on the map, as well as Malzahar. And are we going to see Singed again?
And I don't know if we will see the Singed. It wouldn't be that bad, but then again, it might even play into Maokai's hands, because Singed periodic magic damage, and instead it's swapped to Echo. So Fly going to be on that Echo again, and I don't think that he performed that badly on it. It was just that Samsung got too far ahead last game, and we didn't get to really see Longzhu's team composition function the way that it was intended to.
Says, let's go, Galaxy. Galaxy obviously is Samsung. And now we do see Zyra hovered here before they do get into the second set of bans, so they do want to not reveal the rest of what they want to pick up here.
So Zyra being locked in here as we enter into the second pick and ban phase. I wouldn't be surprised to see Longzhu maybe force Ruler onto an Ezreal, Kate, or Jhin with 80 carry bans. Samsung Galaxy, though, banning away the Rek'Sai.
Yeah, no jungle pick just yet for Longzhu. And we already have Rengar out this time, so I'm not going to give that to Crash, obviously.
Another potential mid laner ban, taking away Crown's Orianna. That would have a lot of synergy with Kha'Zix and Maokai.
Maybe they want to give the victor to Crown, be like, hey, here, take it. And now go farm go farm for 30 minutes while we kill the rest of your team again.
Yep. Echo being picked, also good against Syndra, but then again, Crown has oftentimes in the past even not elected to play Syndra, even when she has been available. The Malzahar ban is a little bit questionable, unless they think that Crown would be willing to play it in the mid lane.
I mean, that's got to be, you know, the only thing, because they already picked up Zyra. And it does get banned.
Okay, so Elise taken away from Crash and Rek'Sai. 4 jungler bans aimed at Crash. So they're really trying to get a specific matchup here. It might be the Lee Sin versus Kha'Zix matchup.
Look at that, gonna pick up Ezreal. Even with both Jhin and Caitlyn still out.
So now what is going to be the final pick for Longzhu? I feel like it can be either Poppy, Nautilus, it can be Fiora even, if Expression would be wanting to play that. And then again, you would have the double split push team composition available to you.
So it looks like Expression might be playing his third unique top laner of the night in that Nautilus, showcasing a pretty nice champion pool so far.
Ooh, and we might actually get to see the Corki as it's being hovered right now. I don't know how this matchup actually goes. Corki has rose to popularity a lot recently at the very high end of the Korean ladder. And pretty scary team composition from Samsung Galaxy. If they can protect the Corki and protect the Ezreal, it's a lot of poke that Longzhu's going to have to find a way to deal with. And Longzhu doesn't really have that strong of a split push if Fly doesn't elect to take teleport. So it's going to be straight up fights versus straight up fights. And that's going to come down to Longzhu's ability to get proper flanks off against the Ezreal and the Corki and find their way into Samsung Galaxy's backline.
Yeah, so a lot of that going to come down to the Echo Lee Sin combination, the ultimate from Expression as well, to try to help out with that. So here we go. Here are our two teams. Going to be the first Corki of 2017 LCK Spring. Wouldn't be too surprised to see more a little bit later on. But when you have this many mid lane bans, as this new banning system kind of forces some newer picks to come out and less common picks to hit the Summoner's Rift. So taking a look at these compositions, Nautilus, Lee Sin, Echo, Ashe, and Karma is going to be the lineup for Longzhu. Moving over to Samsung Galaxy Khan, Maokai, Kha'Zix, Corki, Ezreal, and Zyra. So here we go, game 3 about to start. Once again, we'll see if the poke of Samsung can take down Longzhu this time around, going into game number 3 right now. So guys, here we are on camera. I was just taking a sip of my, nothing to be seen here. But there is a pause, so we're gonna have to wait here on camera once again. Not sure what the problem is, so here we are.
Here we are, indeed, and the light's actually really hurting my eyes. I'm trying to not tear up right now.
Yep.
But game number 3, everything is on the line at this point. And again, like I talked about, it's going to come down to Longzhu's ability to get flanks off against Samsung Galaxy. Fortunately for them, Longzhu is on the blue team, so it's a lot easier to secure vision inside of Samsung Galaxy's red side jungle than if the colors were actually flipped. And so it's just going to be a battle of strategy and vision control. And Samsung showed a lot of it actually last game, and they're going to have to show a lot again this game.
So apparently what happened is one of the players, to be unnamed, did unplug his mic cord just by accident. So all they had to do is replug that in and get the ball rolling here for game number 3.
And no aggressive start this time around from Samsung Galaxy.
Although, he's going to force the flash there as the anchor wanting to send him to the deep end, but not quite. Zyra's going to bounce away.
Yep. Longzhu doing the same opening that Samsung did the game before, and Samsung Galaxy responding the same way that Longzhu did in the previous match. Although now it looks like they're waiting. And I think this is an anticipation on Expression and Crash, and this can get really bad. They're even calling over Crown, so they're expecting Fly to react. And also, Fly does actually have teleport. I saw him enter into the game with Ghost, so
yeah.
Not sure what that's all about.
May have just been a UI problem, but either way, they do have the ward down. They see this here. Oh
no.
They're not going to check it. They're going to go right onto this blue, and here comes Samsung.
Be careful here.
Oh, they're going to peek around the corner. They're going to wait for it.
Oh, no. Oh, it's going to be a smite fight via the blasting plant.
Oh, and the hit, and he does get it. Kha'Zix gets it, and the flash on over, and first blood given to Haru. Down goes Lee Sin. And now Expression on the run. He should be totally fine, but a huge blow to Longzhu very early on in this game.
That is a gigantic blow, in Cuvée getting to top lane at the same time as Expression, but a lot of pressure is on as Haru is going to be up so many levels and just tempo over Crash now. And we can just take a look at this replay. So very interesting use of the blasting plant, knocking him over the wall, gets the smite, the level 2, flashes to match Crash and get the first blood of the game. And an excellent start to this game now for Samsung Galaxy.
Yeah, it's just huge. You could see Lee Sin being forced down towards red all by himself. Struggling now in his jungle. He's going to be so far behind Haru, even a level down right now. He's even going to go aggressive off of the back of this. He wants to make it up by potentially taking the blue buff here of Samsung. You can see, though, that Kha'Zix is heading directly towards that. It looks like Gorilla is going to join with Crash and try to help him out with this blue.
Oh, and they use the scrying plant to actually get vision of Haru. Haru not going to be there in time. Crash does manage to secure the blue buff away, and that's a little bit unfortunate, but Haru did read it. And we can also take a look at his items. Double longsword.
Oh, and that's going to be just huge amounts of damage. Safeguarded away, and Crash will survive, but Haru's not done yet. He's like, okay, you can run away from me, but you can't stop me from taking your Raptors, at least.
Crown seemingly bullying Fly quite well in the mid lane. Already up a little bit in CS, and Fly with his jungler so compromised is under a lot of pressure. It's not like he's going to get any relief, and very interesting that Haru, recognizing exactly what his goal is right now, all he needs to do is stay on top of Crash and prevent him from doing anything, and his laners are all going to continue to get ahead. Although in bottom lane, Prain does have a little bit of a CS advantage.
And you can see a bit of trading in the top lane too. Expression trying to trade a little bit, but Cuvée responding quite well. Fly just kind of forced underneath his turret to farm. You can see how aggressive Corki is with no jungler in sight for the blue team.
Hawkshot scouting out Haru. They know exactly what camps he has up right now. And electing not to get his red buff yet, and this is a very wise choice. He wants to extend the duration of it, uses the Scryer plant to see maybe if Crash would be coming over to try to have a fight over the red. And that might actually be what ends up happening anyway.
Gonna sneak on in here. And here he comes. Is he going to be able to get it? No, Haru does get the red buff. And now Crash is just going to bounce over the wall and get out.
And Haru content to just hop over his wall into the golems. Cuvée in an excellent position, just able to farm underneath that turret. He has that double Doran's ring, so the mana sustain is not going to be a problem. And with his jungler in such close proximity, he's not going to be worried about Lee Sin anyway.
You can see just how well this bot lane is going for Prey and Gorilla. They are just able to push it in to the turret. You see Haru is nowhere near to try to help out. And already a 9 CS difference going to Prey over Ruler.
And Prey and Ruler have really been the saving grace for Longzhu in almost every game. In game number 1, Prey's Jhin was gigantic and basically one of the main driving forces in their victory. And even in game number 2, he was consistently out-farming Ruler, and here in game number 3 again, I mean, the Hawkshots are just providing so much utility to Longzhu and giving Crash the necessary information that he needs to properly read Haru's Kha'Zix.
And you can see Crash is trying to come on in here. There are no camps towards the bot side, but he's just trying to match where Haru is coming in. And he is going to get to this brush first and spot Haru and deny this gank from coming in. So nice counter gank. He's actually going to Sonic Wave in.
A little bit of a chunk. Haru might actually turn around. Oh, the Scuttle Crab spawns. He's going to be able to pick that up. He might even actually eat the plant to restore some of his HP and mana, although it does look like he's almost back to full on both anyway.
Sticking around still. You can see that Lee Sin is also still down near that bot lane. It's a lot of pressure towards there. Prey and Gorilla are not quite 5 yet. You can see both of them are ahead of Core JJ though, who is still level 4, so they will hit 6 first.
Special. He's a growing boy. He needs his nutrients.
Yeah, from a mysterious plant in the river.
But That's what everyone does.
Yeah, of course. Just go out into the river and pull up some mushrooms and see what happens.
Yep.
Bit of poke down there onto Ruler. He's all alone as Zyra had to back off, going to even further that experience deficit.
Interestingly, Crown's actually ahead in farm despite Fly having teleport. That's not something I was expecting to see. Almost a 20 CS advantage here also in the mid lane. You can see Haru, he's just keeping tabs on Crash.
Yeah, they know the timing on this. So he's coming in and he's just waiting. Is he going to actually go for it? You can see Fly, he was waiting for Fly to pull on in, and now they know. Here comes Crown.
Oh, interesting handoff. They read that correctly, that Haru could potentially be there.
They also saw Crown leave the lane too, or at least not show up with the next wave coming on in. So they're like, okay, he went somewhere. Not exactly sure. Let's just play this safe. And even Haru delaying his recall thought, oh, maybe we could go for them, but not quite. Just going to go back to farming.
Not quite indeed. And now Crash making his way over to the right-hand side of the map. You see Prey does have level 6, and they need to make things happen here in the bot lane. I think that their main goal right now should be to just get Prey ahead, use the double teleport, cause a lot of chaos in bottom lane, secure the first blood turret, and then start rotating out of your losing lanes.
Core JJ coming on in. He has spotted Longzhu trying to take the blue once again. Corki also in the picture, as well as Echo. And he's just going to be able to zone out Corki. Not much they can do there with Haru not around to help out.
Fly taking a little bit of poke right now. Double teleport is now up on Fly and Expression. And we see Haru coming down to bottom lane. He has to be really careful. Corki doesn't have the ability to match Echo if Fly chooses to teleport down to bottom. And so any sort of a gank attempt can easily be met with a 5-man.
You can see how much Crown was focusing on trying to push this wave, but also to see if he could delay the recall of Fly. Just pushing on in. There's that teleport you were talking about, so
well,
not going to be able to use it to set up anything down near bot lane.
Just instead trying to use it to recover a little bit in CS. He's down quite considerably. He was down 34 at the time of that teleport. Corki now recalling, has completed the phage and got the boots. So even more pressure can actually be applied by Crown now in the mid lane. If he can ever get like a small freeze in front of his turret, definitely punish Fly a lot for that.
Yeah, and he's already so far up. You can see the golden difference so far in this game is already about 1.1k gold. And even with Prey so far ahead of Ruler. I'll hold that thought. Here they go onto Cuvée. He is going to flash away, but the flash on top of him to try to secure the stun, and that they get it. The Q is going to land on the Cuvée, and he will go down.
Yep, he does go down, and Crown trying to make his way up with Haru, but it's not going to be in time, even though he's got a big package. Haru going to pick up the wave in top. This might actually end up getting the teleport out of Cuvée, thus giving Expression teleport advantage. And we can see how this was set up. Crash went for a lane gank, and Cuvée tries to flash away. You can see Haru trying to make his way up on the mini-map, but he's not going to be in time. And they were able to give that kill over to Expression rather than Crash take it, so definitely good that they did that.
Yeah, that's quite nice. I mean, this early on in the game, Maokai isn't all that tanky. He goes for a double Doran's ring and just able to get, root into hook, into root. It's just, just slow. It's just so much stuff keeping him down and not letting him get away. And with the follow-up there from Lee Sin, a very nice job indeed.
Meanwhile, in bottom lane, look at the CS gap again between Prey and Ruler. It's happened every single game tonight. And that's not something that you want happening, but I would still like to see Crash make something happen for Prey in bottom lane, because if you give him an inch, he'll take it a mile. And Prey is definitely capable of carrying Longzhu if they enable him to.
And you can see, as you're saying that, Crash making his way down, but not able to set anything up, as both Ruler and Cortez are very mindful of what's happening. Look at the vision around this Drake. There is nothing. They have no idea this is going on right now.
Yep, and a hawk shot coming out. It's going to scout exactly where Haru might be. Not really going to find anything, but it's going to see that all the camps are cleared. So even though they didn't find Haru, it gives Expression an idea that maybe Haru's in top lane right now, or he's headed to his right side jungle.
And when you can narrow down the potential possibilities of that, it's very nice for your team indeed. And the Cloud Drake is going to be all right. You allow Crash to get around the map a bit faster. He's going to find Haru in the jungle. Immediate kick with the flash. Oh, is he going to pick it up? Down he goes. And Haru kind of just face checking the brush. Nice positioning there from Crash to pick up that kill.
Yeah, it was almost like he didn't know what hit him. And that was a really slow reaction by Haru. Excellent pickup by Crash. And we're going to take a quick replay of it so you can see how he plays that out with the Q into the ultimate. And Haru just didn't have an opportunity to react. And now in bottom lane, Prey and Gorilla, they're going to pick up the first blood turret of the game.
Yeah, no pressure from Haru. Just really nothing to help them out here as they do get that and continue to widen that gap down in the bot lane. Up about 40 CS here is Prey over Ruler.
And that's certainly negating the CS deficit in mid. Although Echo is a little bit more gold efficient than Corki is, given that his items cost less than what Corki needs to purchase. So it's important to keep that in mind. And oh, here it comes.
Oh, he got stunned into the immediate flash exhaust. Are they going to be able to get this though? No, Gorilla runs straight into Haru. And Haru, he wants blood. Trying to jump in there, but he saves him by killing him first. Prey now on the run. It looks like they're not going to be able to find him. But a great turnaround by Samsung. But here comes Nautilus.
Oh.
Does get rooted. Haru is doing a bit of poke damage, and actually he's going to turn around and try to ult onto Ruler. It's not going to get him an expression, just going way too deep, is going to be taken out.
Yeah, and that was the best case scenario that Samsung could ask for right now. Haru arriving just in time, able to save Ruler as Ruler was able to get over the wall. And that's really unfortunate because meanwhile in mid lane, Crown and Fly just keep doing what they've been doing, and we're going to take a quick look at the replay of what Expression was doing. And he didn't seem to really have a clear idea of what he wanted to do. And so because of that, he ends up just walking around. He presses ultimate, but it's obviously not going to kill Ruler, and he just gives Haru another kill.
Yeah, I'm not sure that had to do with, you know, how much he knew Nautilus's ult does in terms of damage, but maybe he just assumed that he couldn't get out from there against the Kazakhs and the Zyra, so he's like, okay, I might as well just try to turn around and get this. But kind of a rough situation in the first place. He probably should have just turned around or canceled the teleport at first, but trying to make the most out of a bad situation just gives more gold over to Samsung.
Yep. And interesting right now, Fly did just get handed the blue buff, but we're seeing Praying Gorilla continue to stay in bottom lane, and I'm wondering why this is when normally you would want to rotate Praying Gorilla to mid and give Echo the free farm in bottom lane as Ruler just constantly shoves waves into him. And that would alleviate the pressure that you're experiencing in mid, but maybe it looks like they're headed to do that now.
Now some rotations, some pings going down as Gorilla and Prey head up towards mid, going to get rid of a control ward on their way. And now it looks like they may want to go for that Zyra, but not quite able to get onto him. We'll get the Crab instead.
Next dragon of the game is Infernal Drake. You can bet that both teams definitely want to pick that up. Fly recalling right now as Gorilla's headed to mid, but Prey might be a little bit out of position here.
Oh man, they see him now. And it looks like he's just going to back off the wave, and Samsung is not going to commit to try to taking him out.
And all that's happening right now is Crown just continuously keeps farming for free. He's going to have that Trinity Force soon. Echo does already have the Proto Belt. Has the Sapphire Crystal for the Sheen. I'm not sure if he has the gold yet for it. But both teams are just posturing around the Dragon area because the vision control around that Drake is so important right now.
And you can see both Crash and Gorilla just trying to get rid of every ward that they possibly can. Now potentially trying to set up an Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Here it comes, it gets him before he can jump away, but is going to flash to deny that. But still, I mean, they use one ultimate, get rid of a flash, and they get even more control over this Dragon area.
Yep, they do get the flash away from Crown, and that's pretty crucial because the Drake is coming up in just over a minute, and Crown's not going to have the luxury of being able to reposition in the fight, which is really scary against an Echo and a Nautilus.
So beginning to just push the lane once again. And here comes Kazakhs towards the bot. There are actually no wards to spot this, and Prey is going to eat a True Shot Barrage. And uh-oh, here comes that Kha'Zix. He's going to flash, but is going to go down easily to the damage of Kha'Zix onto that single player. And down he does go.
Yep, and he had no vision of that, so Haru was just able to simply come down through the river and pick up a very easy kill there. And Samsung gonna be rewarded with the bottom tier 1 turret, and this also enables CoreJJ to get the necessary vision around the Inferno Drake. And we can just take a look at this again. Prey, no ultimate, not able to escape a Kha'Zix there. Not even sure actually why he used summoner spells, but nonetheless, however, it's actually taking them a little bit longer to kill this turret than I think they wanted, so it might provide the necessary time for Longzhu to get into position to actually fight over the Infernal Drake.
Well, Ashe is about to get her Enchanted Crystal Arrow once again, so maybe they try to set up something here. Fly has to be very careful. There's a lot of members around that Drake. It looks like Crash and Gorilla were trying to set up something towards Maokai, but this Drake has been started here by Samsung.
Yep. And it looks like they wanted to trade the Infernal Dragon to kill Maokai and then secure themselves a top tier 1 turret, but unable to really find their way in. Not sure what that... Okay, well, I guess it's going to burn some of the minions. Meanwhile, Crash stealing away the Wreath Camp, but nonetheless, huge pickups for Samsung Galaxy.
Quite nice here, beginning to make a bit of a lead for themselves, up about 2,500 gold, or 2.5k, and now just kind of calming down once again. Prey still has his arrow up. Crash gonna head back though, but Ping's going down. They may try to go on to CoreJJ here. Oh. Kick coming in, and the Q is dodged by the flash, and the ultimate coming down. This may turn back on the Crash, and down he goes. A fantastic set of abilities being used there by CoreJJ to secure that kill. Crash
not able to find a kill there. Went a little bit too early, but his hand was sort of forced as CoreJJ read that he might be there.
Are they actually going to go for this? The teleport is coming in. Ultimate used to bop up Haru, and Kive might be clawed out here. Fly trying to get that slow down. He is going to try to get away. Will he be able to, though? It looks like he will. He's just too tanky at this point. And now this could even turn back the other way as Haru is still around. But a ward does spot him. Looks like he is just going to back off for now.
Yeah, a ward does spot him indeed. And that was some pretty neat maneuvers by Cube to get himself out of that. Able to dodge the parallel convergence and then play a little bit of a mind game with which direction he was going to head before flashing away. They were able to defuse that gank, but it did come at the cost of Fly's teleport. And now Crown, meanwhile, in bottom lane, getting free farm on that Corki. So we can see this gank again. Expression able to get into the proximity of his turret so that they're holding turret aggro. And you can see Fly wanted to lock up Cube. Cube moved back the proper time and then flashed away right as Echo's ability ended. And he went to safety.
Nicely done. So Crown was just over here, pushing in the lane. Echo does respond down there in bot. The mid lane turret here for Samsung is still alive. And it looks like Longzhu might want to rotate over here, begin to put on some pressure. Here comes Nautilus in the river.
And Cube getting some farm up in mid as they did put Ruler up in top lane. Ruler's going to be able to get that tower for free. Expression's not really going to have a say in defending it, especially with Haru and CoreJJ in close proximity. And the problem with having Fly in bottom lane right now is sort of, it's forced, but he doesn't have teleport, so it's not so useful. You're just sort of putting gold on him. Meanwhile, Ruler gets the turret up in top lane, and they're looking to steal away a blue buff.
Expression waiting for his allies to come in. Oh, kind of an early smite there. Does go over to Expression, at least not giving it to mid lane or anything like that.
Now, just a little bit of posturing in mid. Crown doesn't really have anything to do. And right now, Ezreal, Monomune, gonna keep moving forward. He's almost caught up in CS.
Here comes Haru. Was looking for someone. Does burn his ult. Just going to back off as no one was there. It looks like Longzhu was very much aware of the setup that was being put down there and the lack of information and vision they had near those mid lane brushes.
Now a lot of focus being devoted actually to the left-hand side of the map. Fly is up in top lane, but he doesn't have the items to really threaten anything. He can't assassinate Ruler 100 to 0 in a second. So he doesn't really have the ability to even dive him underneath turret. And as you can see here, Longzhu doesn't have anything to do except wait for the waves to come to them and keep farming out and trying to get to, you know, 2, 3, 4 core items before they can really begin to fight back against Samsung Galaxy. Because currently they're not in a position to have any sort of fights over vision around Baron.
Yeah, they just use this small window of opportunity to clear out 2 of the control wards. One of them still does remain near the mid lane. And both tops now just hanging around bottom lane as they push them in. Both of them do have teleport at this point in time. Fly still waiting on that teleport. Still just hanging around top for now.
And meanwhile, nothing's really happening too much in the game. We can't expect any fights out of Cuvée or Expression. Cuvée actually the first to hit the Sunfire Cape. Expression still ways away from getting that item.
Oh, Gorilla's going to be hit here by the Sonic Wave. Is going to shift out of there. Here was Core JJ trying to find some kind of follow-up. See what he can get done. Crown and Cuvée making the rotation over. Gorilla trying to come in, give the speed boost to his team, and that he does. Cuvée, is he going to go for it? Looks like not quite. Just going to back off.
Right now, they don't really have any way to damage that Maokai pick. And Expression is in bottom lane. He has his teleport available. Fly almost has his teleport. So in coming moments, they will be able to initiate a 1-3-1 if they want it. And Samsung's going to have a little bit of difficulty reacting to that.
Oh, the lockdown onto Crash, and that should be an easy kill. Down he goes. Just getting caught out there just barely by Cuvée, but it's enough. And they pick up the kill. They have tons of vision around Baron. It looks like they're going to begin it.
Yep. And without their jungler, I don't think that they really have the ability to stop this. Baron's already at 6,000. One teleport coming in, Fly coming in from the front.
Looks like they really do want to come in here and try to contest this. Let's see if they can get it. The smite comes down. It does go over to Samsung. Huge amounts of damage being done to Fly. Core JJ might pay for it with his life, but down goes Nautilus as well. And uh-oh, a lot of Longzhu on the run here. Down goes Ash, and down goes Karma. They do not get the Baron, and they lose 3 members of their team.
And that was so big for Samsung Galaxy. Even though Expression got a beautiful ultimate off, and Samsung Galaxy were all funneled into the Baron pit, they just don't have any damage right now against Haru or Cuvée, and it was all too easy for Ruler and Crown to reposition accordingly and just kite out the fight. And with that Baron and securing another turret, the gold lead is almost at 10,000. So taking another look at this replay, I actually thought it was really bad that Crown brought the Nautilus ultimate into his own team, but unfortunately, Fly doesn't yet have the damage to threaten any of the carries on Samsung Galaxy, and neither does Prey. So you can see Cuvée, it's all too easy for him to stay on top of Prey, and Gorilla can't do anything to save him.
Yeah, not in this point, especially 4v5. With Fly not doing all too much. And here we go, now going on to this Cloud Drake. And there's not much that Longzhu can do here. They have to give it away. This is going to be a free Drake, essentially. Now they can begin to set their sights down near bot lane. We do have Maokai set up there.
And we can also see the Quicksilver Sash on Haru. Doesn't want to get locked up by Echo or Ashe, preventing basically the only hope that Longzhu could have to come back into this game would be via a pick, and that QSS denies it.
Prey eating a ton of damage, almost gets hit by the True Shot Barrage, is going to counter with both Nautilus and Ashe's ultimates here. But all that can do is buy some time, perhaps, for Prey to go back to Fountain and rejoin with his team. This is a very strong push coming in.
And they don't have an answer from Maokai, and that's the problem, is Cuvée in the front line, he's completely uncontested, and they're going to pick up this inhibitor turret, and then it looks like we see Pings going down onto mid lane. Haru making his way up, but turns back around.
Yeah, just going to play it a little bit slower. Want to make sure they come with the rest of their team. Ping's also in the top lane as there's a really big wave going onto that top turret. I don't think it's going to go down, but will get pretty weak.
Haru tapping the minion wave in mid lane, gonna escort the Baron, enhance minions at least into the mid lane turret before he recalls.
Yeah, still got a minute on Baron here. Looks like the majority of the team is just gonna go back. Actually, all of them will, and perhaps group up and go for another semi-push in one of these lanes.
Yep. And no Magic Mantle actually picked up for Ruler, so Ruler is probably in the same mindset. Let me just get a Quicksilver Sash, let me deny Longzhu's ability to lock up any of us, because that's Longzhu's only hope. They need a pick. They need someone on Samsung Galaxy to face check a brush or go somewhere where they don't have vision, and then Longzhu needs to pounce on that and kill them. QSS will deny that ability, and so it becomes less likely that Longzhu is going to have any sort of hope at winning a team fight or getting some sort of an advantageous position.
Here we go, 14 seconds still left on Baron. This should be an easy tier 2 turret. Your JJ does get locked up, but Fly is all alone. Not going to be able to do much. Just has to back off to the inhibitor turret. In goes Cuvee very early on, very confidently to just walk out there. You can see just how tanky he is. He's up at full health once again.
And now it's just going to be a little bit of a siege. No Baron for this siege, but I don't think it's really going to matter. I'm pretty sure Cuvee is oh, no, here come the Baron minions. Thought they were actually just going to walk up a little bit sooner, but nonetheless, Expression, beautiful ultimate.
Great ultimate, and the follow-up getting onto Ruler in the back, and he will go down. Crash is able to secure that kill, but we do have Fly going down as well, trading 1 for 1. And now Crash is really just separated from his team, is cut off entirely. He's going to have to find a way back somehow, some way. Meanwhile, down in bot lane, a bunch of super minions getting to work there, and Haru is not done yet. Crash on the runaway. Does not decide to go in and queue. That fight is not done up in top lane, but this push is still going on here, and they're easily going to be able to get that turret. On to Prey once again, and the run forward here from Crown. Prey just barely does get away. Oh, the sapling, though, is on the chase. Just barely doesn't get him to survive.
Yeah, and they're going to get the inhibitor. And meanwhile, Haru was just running through the jungle, and, oh, well, Cuvee might go down here, actually. Yes, he will indeed. But they got the inhibitor. They got the turret. There's nothing on the map for Longzhu to get. And so it's not really the end of the world. Had Prey just gone down, though, we might have actually seen the end of the game.
Yeah, definitely very true. They could have continued with their push or maybe even just go for the mid turret as it was decently pushed up at that time. But again, Longzhu, they're just bleeding. You know, they get this one kill. Or this is actually the sapling time.
Yeah, that was the sapling where Prey was just barely able to escape. Had to run away a little bit and lifesteal off the minions, attacking his Nexus turrets. But anyways, they got the inhibitor. They did end up losing Cuvee, but that doesn't really matter at this point in the game.
You can see the rest of Samsung is like, well, you're dead. Sorry. Gotta let you go. I mean, Enchanted Crystal Arrow was used as well for that kill. So they did have to expend a bunch of abilities. It is up in time for the next team fight here. Teleport is going to be used. Wow, 10,000 gold gained by Samsung in that last 3.5 minutes of Baron buff.
And I mean, you can just look at the items. I mean, it tells the difference between where both of these teams stand right now. QSS is out for Samsung Galaxy. Cuvee probably not too far away from his Guardian Angel, if the game even goes that far.
You can see Cuvee just so confidently just walking on into Expression. Really nice arrow onto Crown, though, in the back line, and he is going to go down. Is there a chance they can actually hold this off? With Cuvee really far in and no way to escape here, they may just be able to stave this off, and that they do. They get the second kill, but they gotta worry about their base here, because they gotta clear up these minions.
They got the second kill, but what's more important is the time which this just occurred. Cuvee doesn't have teleport. Corki is down. There's no big package available. As long as they can push these minions out, they might actually be able to go for a Baron burst attempt and get themselves back into the game. The bottom inhibitor is going to be coming up soon. Dragon and Baron on the field. This can get really ugly for Samsung Galaxy.
Yeah, this game is not over yet. You can see exactly what happened. Cuvee, maybe this time around, getting a little bit too overconfident. That perfect arrow from Prey, that is just unbelievable.
Yep, and Fly able to find his way into the backline. He now has the items where he can threaten the ability to assassinate the carries in the backline if he can make it there. And so a little bit over-eager by Cuvee for that engagement, and Samsung not taking it as slow as they're normally used to.
Here we go. The Baron has been started. Halfway done. So much poke coming out of Samsung. They have to try to come in here. Haru, he's going to go for the jump. And the stun before he can go for the jump. Really nicely done there by Longzhu. And they are going to secure that Baron.
Now they need the Baron recall, but what's happening is Samsung Galaxy's following them. Corki with the big package. Oh no, he might actually, oh no, never mind. He's gonna light up Lee Sin. The exhaust being used. Here comes Haru.
Yeah, Haru jumping in, able to secure that kill. Fly though, does want to challenge Haru. Haru is quite low, but right now it is 5v4. And where's Cube? Without that teleport, he's a bit slow, but now he has joined with the team. And as I said before, it's 5v4. Can they make something happen here? I think they should be able to get this inhibitor.
Samsung Galaxy does have some members really low on HP. They get the mid lane inhibitor. And they're able to fend off Samsung Galaxy for now, who's rushing straight to the Infernal Drake. And that's a very, very big pickup at this point in the game. Next dragon after it will certainly be Elder. But Longzhu, they're not out of the game yet.
They're hanging on by a pinky on this cliff. I mean, they deny the Baron, they get that at least. Unfortunately, they weren't able to stop Samsung from taking the mid inhibitor. But once they begin to have some of these inhibitors spawn, you know, bot lane and top lane will eventually come along.
Yep. And right now, it's just a matter of farming up gold more and more. Expression also almost has that Guardian Angel. Guardian Angel now completed for Cube, so he is able to go a little bit more aggressive than he was before. We can see the itemization for Ruler now. He's opting into that Blade of the Ruin King. That'll certainly help with shredding through Crash and Expression. And make him a little bit more flexible inside of the team fights.
Now here we have Samsung joining up all together, even pushing into the Baron buff minions. They got double super minions in every lane for now, so they can afford to try to pull this off. If they can catch one member before a fight even goes down, that would be fantastic. Lots of pokes still out here for Samsung.
Baron minions doing work, certainly stalling, and fortunately for them, the top wave is nowhere near the base of Longzhu. So Samsung, they have to play this right. They can't mess it up. Quicksilver Sashes are up on everyone, but Cube can't take an engagement so recklessly like he did before. Yeah,
I think he sees that as well. You can see how far back he's playing compared to the last time around. Longzhu, they really want to engage. Look at that block with the plant by Zyra. Fantastically done by Core JJ. And the super slow push continues. You see Fly is forced to go down to the bot lane to try to stop that, and they're going to have to give up top inhibitor because of that.
Yep. Meanwhile, in bot, Fly was having to deal with the minions, and now 3 inhibitors down again, so the waves are coming 2 at a time per lane. And Samsung Galaxy might just want the end right here, but Baron minions are still alive.
Yeah, I mean, even against all these super minions, the Baron buff minions will definitely help out. And once you have everybody grouped up as 5, it's definitely going to be hard to push in there for Samsung for now.
Don't want to lose a team fight here. They have to be very careful. They are a little bit split up, and as you can see, the minions just keep dying. It's very easy for Longzhu to hold this turtle right at their nexus, and Samsung not able to use Corki and Ezreal to poke Longzhu down enough.
Yeah, not quite. Maybe Longzhu can get some kind of work done here. They're going to get the pull onto Cube. Here comes the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, but immediately Samsung is able to pull on in there and turn this around. Ruler in a bit of trouble, but is totally fine to just push on in and turn that fight back around onto Lee Sin. And again, Longzhu just delaying this. Lots of lower members there for Samsung. A miss took just barely.
All right, a huge minion wave coming in from top lane. No more Baron buffed minions. Cube still almost at full HP. That passive is doing a lot of work. This might be it.
This might be it. Some very healthy minions as they try to poke down those towers. No parallel convergence to lock anyone up just yet. But you can see just how patiently Samsung is playing this. Maybe at the bot lane, we got another couple of super minions.
Oh my. Wow, they defended again, and Samsung Galaxy forced to retreat. The gold gap keeps closing right now. And how is Samsung Galaxy going to itemize? They all must have a lot of gold. Haru needs to sell his boots and change his boots out for something. Those mobility boots are serving no purpose right now. Elder Dragon will come up soon, as will Baron. And that might be the type of fight that Samsung Galaxy needs to bring Longzhu out of their base. Because we've seen that they don't have the ability to penetrate Longzhu's final 2 Nexus turrets, which is really surprising given that they have a Corki and an Ezreal.
It's just really rough, you know, getting giving that Baron over because you got a little bit too overconfident towards the enemy's inhibitor was just so huge. You could see, as you were talking about, that gold gap is closing. As this game gets later and later on, Longzhu is going to eventually get full items, and be full items versus full items of Samsung. So if they can just hurdle for another 10 minutes, they should be in a decent position, as funny as that sounds.
I just want to point out that the levels for Longzhu is actually higher than Samsung Galaxy because of all these minions that keep coming into the base. CoreJJ is actually behind Gorilla. And hold on, we might have the final fight.
Yeah, pick on Taharu, the cleanse, the QSS. He is going to try to jump away, but the knock up there, can they actually get it? Crash desperately trying to jump on in, especially getting really low too, but Crash going a little bit too far, and down he does go. Fly is going to be forced to ultimate back. And just that one kill, Crash going a little bit too deep on Taharu, not able to secure the kill. And that's going to be Inhibitor going down. And bot Inhibitor may follow it just in a sec.
Yeah, and that might be the nail in the coffin. I like that Samsung Galaxy is being a little bit more cautious, just taking the inhibitors in case anything weird happened like before. Oh no.
Well, talking about something weird happening, Haru gets extremely low. Fly trying to jump on in there and do a bit of damage. Cube is just so unbelievably tanky, but can he be chipped down? No, he's not going to be. He's going to flash away just barely. And I have to point out, both Nexus turrets are still alive.
But the problem is that the Baron and Elder Dragon are both coming up, and unless Crash can have some sort of a miracle steal away from Haru, I don't know how Longzhu is going to be able to defend against both of those buffs.
Yeah, and even if he does get the miracle steal, there's a high chance that he might pay for it with his life, and then you're facing, you have Baron buff, but it's 4v5 again. Those turrets are decently low. They will regen a bit, but can they actually pull off the push? Samsung has been denied multiple times from that push.
And I like that Samsung is electing for the Baron before the Elder Dragon, as the Baron is the only way that Longzhu could reliably defend. Elder Drake would not do it.
Wow, Longzhu is actually going to start this here very confidently. Want to start it as early as possible. Tons of damage coming out from Prey. Here comes Cuvée. Trying to get into the back line. Fly is very low too. Gonna eat a true shot barrage too. And Expression being chipped down here, but a huge hit up there. And the Enchanter Crystal Arrow onto CoreJJ in the back. Here comes Haru, but no! It goes over to Longzhu. Haru not able to secure that smite. At the same time, minions are pushing in, but Expression is gonna go down. On the opposite side, we do see Kha'Zix also going down. They're trying to get back to the base, but can they in time?
Crash actually blocked Ruler from denying Prey and Fly's recall, but the turrets are down.
The turrets are down. They have Baron buff, but they're not going to be able to save that top inhibitor. Longzhu, they've been holding on for so long, but how long more can they actually do that? Getting the Baron was incredibly important. Imagine if Samsung had gotten Baron, they just regroup and go for the push with no turrets. I don't think you can stop that at this point.
Yeah, there definitely would not be a way to stop that. And top inhibitor went down again, and that's really scary. Now, it's not as scary as it could be. Maokai doesn't have the ability to teleport into the base and backdoor. He just simply doesn't have that damage. So while the inhibitor did just fall, mid and bot will come up soon, but we might see another really big fight here at Elder Dragon, although it doesn't look like that's going to occur. Well, now, Baron can still resist Elder. Elder can't resist Baron, so that's why it was so important that Longzhu made the choice to go to Baron.
Arrow is going to hit Cuvée. Crash, he gets the Q down. Can he potentially steal this? No, not quite. Even Fly getting a crack at it, but not going to be able to steal that one. So Elder Drake does go over to Samsung, and they got 2 minutes to make something work.
2 minutes indeed, and they are all grouped in mid lane. Expression was able to push out bottom lane a little bit, buy them some time. Meanwhile, in top lane, here come the super minions as well. And Samsung Galaxy, they have to play this very carefully. The death timers right now are gigantic.
That they are. That's a fantastic point. At the same time, even if they do take a huge fight loss, only one turret has been killed here for Longzhu. But you can see Samsung ever so slowly pushing on in. Prey is going to eat a ton of damage. You can see Fly actually losing the fight here to Haru. Oh, he's just barely going to get away. It might not matter as they're trying to focus down the Nexus here. Will they be able to do it? It looks like they will. And Samsung is going to take the victory just at the end there after 10 minutes of desperately trying to get in. They finally clear up.